Hi, my name is John Pryor. I am the senior minister at Morrison Hill Christian Church. I've been here for almost 30 years now, and the first 27 years of that, I was the youth minister. Thank God I still get to be involved in camp, and I have no intention of quitting that. Camp is just hugely powerful. I believe in it with all my heart. I'm not going to mince words. I love Smoky Mountain Christian Camp. I don't believe that's the only good camp out there, but we really love it. I also believe in camp itself as it should be organized, it should be done with intention, it should be done with excellence. And that's what me and Billy and several others are trying to impart to you. But I also want to say, just right here at the outset, that just the idea of taking time with your students to get away from everything and just spend time focusing on God and on building your relationships with them, just that idea is a good thing. You probably could get some really powerful results just by going camping with them. Having said that, imagine what could happen if you spend a lot of time with excellence, if you spend a lot of time with prayer, if you spend a lot of time with a lot of intense planning beforehand, if you spend a lot of time really thinking it through, working it through with the team. So really quickly, I want to share just a couple of ideas that I have learned and would love to encourage you to experiment with. You'll probably get way better than I've ever been at it, but these are some of the key things about camp. Are you ready? Here's number one. Pray. Pray a lot. This is the main thing. I would pray when you are preparing. I would pray when you decide if you're even going to be willing to lead a week of camp or not. Pray about which one you are offered. Maybe you belong with high schoolers or middle schoolers. Maybe both. Maybe kids. Maybe only one of those. Maybe none of those. Maybe all of those. I don't know. Pray about it. Pray about what to talk about. Pray about how to communicate it. Pray about who to get on your team, etc., etc. And as you get closer, pray very specifically. Pray for the camp itself. Pray for the faculty. Pray for the students that are going to be coming. Pray that God will guide the whole process. There's nothing like camp. One of my heroes as far as camp and several other things go is a guy named O.B. Roberts. Many of you know him as Doug. We call him O.B. But Doug is an incredible camp leader. I would not try to do things his way. He's very unique in how he runs things. I really respect it, but he's got his own little thing going. But here's why I really believe it works. And I've told him this, and he would tell you this. It's because he really has the prayer thing down. He has people praying while they're having their worship times, while the speaker is speaking, while they're having small group times. He's got people praying and fasting in advance all week long. He's done a much better job at that than I've ever done. But I attribute any success that we've had at camp, big chunk of that is the prayer. Prayer is number one. Second thing is prepare. You need to prepare. Maybe I should say, maybe I should make these all nouns. Let's say prayer and preparation, or pray and prepare. There's verbs. However you want to remember this. Hey, they're all P's. Check that out too. That's pretty nice. Pray, prepare. However you want to remember that. Write it down. But you really need to. You really need to. Like I said, you could wing it and get some good results. You could. But imagine what happens when you actually really prepare. Imagine if you and your team talk about, what do our kids need to hear? What do they need right now? You pray about that. You think about that. You talk to the students about that. If we had an entire week to focus on one or two big ideas, what do you need right now? Start with that. Let the bullseye of what you're trying to do not be, hey, let's make the best camp week ever. Let's make this really fun. I want to be known as the fun dean or the cool dean or the smart dean or the what. Don't let that be the bullseye of your target. Let the bullseye be, God, show me what these kids need right now, and show me all the arrows we need to shoot at that bullseye. What do you want to happen, God? What needs to happen in their lives? Shoot all your arrows at that bullseye. So again, you pray, you prepare. Billy's going to tell you a whole bunch of stuff about preparing. I'd like to tell you just a couple of things that I think are super important. One is, make sure you communicate with your faculty. This is just a handy tip. There are a lot of different kinds of people in the world. You'll probably get a smattering of all of them on every faculty you ever lead. Some people really love to wing it. And when you hand them a really detailed faculty handbook, they're going to go, thanks, that's really cool. What's happening tonight? And they're not going to read it. You need those people on your team, and they may make you feel like writing all that stuff, preparing all that stuff was a waste of time. But I'm telling you, it's not. It's really not. Because you're also going to have people on the other end of the spectrum that if you don't hand them something and there isn't something planned, they're going to panic. They're going to read every single one. They're going to have questions. They're going to have detailed questions. You need to get that stuff out as soon as you possibly can. At least an overview, at least an outline, at least your theme, at least something. I have personally not been the best at that over the years. I've tried really hard to get better at it, and I've succeeded to a degree. I'm not the paragon of here's exactly how to do that well, but I aim my arrows at that target, and you should too. You really should. You need to be organized. You should know here's what's happening Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Here are some backups. Here are the backup plans. If we get rained out on Tuesday, we're going to do this. Here are 3 possible late night games that we may not get to. But if any of these other ones that need good weather don't happen, these are planned. I'm serious. I'm not messing around. I'm telling you, you need to have backup plans, and it needs to be in writing. Most importantly, you need to have the rules. And there shouldn't be very many. They should be pretty simple. But one that I will tell you is always on mine, always at Smoky Mountain Christian Camps, always at our church, always should be on yours, is no one should ever be alone with a student. I don't care how much you trust yourself, how much you trust others on your team, no one should ever be. There's 2 reasons for that. One, it protects you. You may not think about that. This may be old hat to you. I don't know. I don't know who's watching this video. But I'm telling you, it protects you. These days, if anybody accuses somebody of any kind of abuse or misconduct sexually or anything at all, if somebody accuses you of it, it becomes fact. That's it. There it is. Doesn't matter whether you did it or not. Doesn't matter what your reputation is. You always have to have several people in the room. 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to actually do any really inappropriate stuff in front of everyone else, especially not your faculty, especially not the people that are leading. Not that you're recruiting people who are likely to do that. I'm just saying you need that, but it protects them. Second, obviously, you've got to protect the students. You've got to make sure that even if you're wrong, even if you totally trust this person, you grew up with this person, you know all your life, you trust them and you have good reason to trust them. Doesn't matter. You need to guarantee that nothing bad happens to your students. Camp represents God. It represents the church. It represents you and so much more than you and the people that you know and love. So again, so far we've just covered these 2, and I'm actually about to wrap up. I know Billy and several others are going to cover a bunch of great stuff. I'm going to send some stuff printed, but let's quick review and then we'll wrap up here. Pray and prepare. All right? Pray a lot and prepare a lot. Most of the people, let me encourage you one last thing. Most of the people are going to be somewhere in between those 2 extremes. They're going to read your thing a little bit. They're going to care. They're going to really respect that you put the time in that. Better yet, include them in the preparation. Include as many of your faculty as possible. Get their input. Put them in charge of certain things. The rules, make sure they harmonize with whatever camp you're working with. Not all of you will work with Smoky Mountain Christian Camp, but whatever camp it is, you need to make sure that your rules harmonize with them, but you need to be prepared. All right, here's the last one. This doesn't start with a P or anything. I'm just going to talk to you about themes, okay? So one more time, this is kind of a reiteration of one of the first things I said, but this is really important, and here's where I'm going to go. Most of the great, memorable camp themes end up being something that ties in with a movie that just came out, or a song that came out, or some other really cool cultural touch point. And there is nothing wrong with that. That is actually cool. We've done that a lot. One of the more recent really great weeks of camp that we had, we were able to use a thing we called Whatever It Takes. And we used the Avengers movies, and it was really amazing. God did some really cool stuff. We still remember it. Kids are, and adults are still wearing all the t-shirts. It was amazing, and that was several years ago. We still remember what we studied together. It was cool. But listen to me. This is what I want to share, and this is how I'm going to wrap this up. Don't start trying to be cool and culturally relevant. That's not a good place to start. That's not the bullseye of your target. Where you need to start is with the prayer and the preparation that we just talked about. What do the kids actually need right now? God, what do you want to say? What needs to change? What needs to happen? Start there. And then try and find a way to make that happen. The reason that Whatever It Takes was such a great theme was not because, oh wow, the Avengers came out and we tapped in to the Avengers. There were a shocking amount that year. We were shocked how many had not seen those movies. We thought literally every student would have seen those movies maybe a couple times. There were some, but not all of them. It wasn't near the cultural touch point that we thought it was going to be. The reason it worked was this: where that theme started was asking God what needed to happen. And we really believed God wanted to do something where we changed our mentality and said, we're going to get the Great Commission done, whatever it takes. This is going to be happening. I've been doing a study of Matthew, and I was really praying about how can I possibly turn this into a theme that's actually going to grab teenagers. This is a really cool, deep theme that I'm excited about. How's this going to work? Starting to talk to some other people. Then the trailer came out for Avengers, and I don't know if you remember that one or not, but they're all going around in a circle going, whatever it takes, whatever it takes, whatever it takes, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. And we were like, the Avengers. That's what we need to use as our theme. But it started with what needed to be said. It started with what needed to be done. It started with the prayer and the preparation, not with, hey, let's make the coolest, hippest thing that we can do. Because even if you succeeded in that, that's a pretty lame goal. I mean, that's nothing. But if you can actually accomplish God's will, if you can actually change the life of the student, that's a pretty big deal. So again, start with what needs to happen. Start with the theme. Start with the prayer and the preparation. Then bring in as cool as stuff as you have. The way we ended up developing that, we had each night, we took one of the characters from the Avengers and looked at their story arc and how they transformed and how that correlates to how God transforms us. And oh my goodness, I could almost recite some of those points to you right now, and it's been a couple years because it was powerful. But it was powerful. Let me say it one more time. It was powerful because we started with the right thing in the bullseye. We shot all the arrows there. So again, there's going to be some handouts. Billy's going to share. I don't know who else is going to be there, but this is my contribution. These are that I think more than anything else, those are the things I needed to say to you today. God bless you guys.